Here. So today I'm back and we're looking at this multiplier here that I built last video. And so what I've done is I've hooked up a set of buffers like this to the output. So now we can see multiple outputs at a time. For instance, this row here is one input, so the output is the value 1. This here is another output, which is the value of 6. This here is another output, the value 21. And we have 60, some other value. And we have 18 is 7, blah 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 blah. Anyway, what I did is I hooked up these Q's to my inputs of my multiplier. And then I enter values into my Q and I pop them in. And I do that on both sides. And then over here, I come and I place a lever here. And I let this clock run to pipeline those values through this, so that it's doing multiple multiplications at a time, and then I lock the result in place here. So this is the results of me doing 1 times 1, 3 times 2, 7 times 3, 15 times 4, 7 times 5, 3 times 6, and then 1 times 7, and then it repeated 1 times 7, and then 1 times 7, and then 1 times 7. Anyway, the only result that got messed up is this one right here, which should be 32, and instead it's 32, and we have this extra bit on up here, which I'm assuming is a timing issue from the previous bit, so I adjusted the timing on this to compensate. So hopefully we should be getting the right results now. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is we're going to calculate the squares of numbers. So to do that, we're going to reset this. And it's going to clear everything to 0 like that. And we're going to enter the value. Okay, results are inputted, or values are inputted, and so now we see that we have 1 times 1 being outputted right now, and we're getting the value 1, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let this clock 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll give this a few seconds to catch up here. Alright, let's see if the timing messed up, and it looks like it did. So we have 1, we should have 4, and then 9. So we have 1 and then 6. Okay, so it's off a little bit. 6, 9. And we should have 4 times 4 is 16. So that messed up. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Well, 16 plus 4 is 20. Wait, 16 plus 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25, so that worked. 6 times 6 is 36, so we have 32. Nope, that's wrong. Alright, yeah, and 7 times 7 is 49, which that's 48 plus 1, that's right. 8 times 8 is 64, so that's wrong. 9 times 9 is 81. So 64 plus 16 is 80, and then we're adding 10, so that's 90. So we're off there. Yeah, so this thing didn't work properly. So let me try adding the tick delay back into this thing, and we'll rerun those values. Okay. So it turns out my queue here had 2 pointers in it, so it was popping out 2 values at a time, therefore ORing them together onto this line. That's why some of those values were messed up when we ran through that multiplication. So now, off the camera, I entered the values 1 through 10 onto this queue, and right now it's outputting the value 1. I entered the values 1 through 10 on this queue, and right now it's outputting the value 1. And we're doing 1 times 1, and we're getting right now a value of 1, but we have not started clocking yet, so nothing's in here. So I am going to go ahead and start this and count 10, and then remove power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we did 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, which is not that. Okay, is that messed up? But it's weird because last time we got that value correct. Okay, so we did 4 times 4, and that's 16. 5 times 5, that's 25, so that's correct. 6 times 6 is 36, so we have... that's looking wrong. Alright, and then we have 7 times 7, which is 49. And I believe what I'm doing here is my values are clocking too early. They're capturing the value before. Anyway, so now we have 49, which is 7 times 7. 8 times 8 is 64, which got messed up. It should just be this guy and nothing else. It got messed up with the bit that came after. So, this is the value. It should be 9 times 9, which should be 81. Which means this is 64 plus 16, which is 80, plus 1, which is 81. That works. And then this should be 100, which is 64 plus 32, which is 96, plus 4, which is 100. So that worked. So for the majority of these worked. It's just some timing issues that I have to deal with to get the results to be proper, like this one being 9, and then this value being, oh, that's 25. This value being 36, if we can get that right. That'd be nice. Obviously 36 is not odd. So yeah, I'll see if I can clean up the timings on these. Alright, so I set a bunch of numbers into this stack queue, and I did basically 1, 3, 7, 15, 14, 12, 8, like that. And then I'm multiplying them by the value 1, so we should see that pattern come out. So I'm just going to clock this for a few. And absolutely nothing. I think it's because I slowed down that too much. I guess I should film this part where I'm entering the values. It's just kind of boring. Alright, we're getting up to the value 8. Okay, cool. So now we'll run this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, And there you can see we did 1, 3, 7, 15, 14, 12, and then 8. So that's really cool. That actually worked. It seems that I got no issues that time, so I guess the problem was the amount of delay I had on this monostable, which I now fixed. So if I wanted to speed this up, I would have to speed it up here, and then take a tick off, and then speed it up on this monostable by how much I take off here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start messing around doing that. Okay, so I just entered the same sequence of numbers as I did here, but all I did is I sped this up by a tick, so I removed the tick from the monostable here. Yeah, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, get one more. Very good. This pipeline through at that speed. Awesome. Maybe, just maybe I can get away with one more tick. That'll put me at 4 ticks for the pipeline. Okay, and I entered those numbers one more time, and I sped up the clock by 1 tick. Let's see if it can do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and it looks like absolutely nothing happened. Blinking too fast for the monostable. Why is this? Oh, okay. Let's see what happens if we do it like this. There we go. Okay, so that doesn't work. So yeah, it's looking like 5 ticks is the speed of this thing. Any more than that, or any quicker than that, and it begins to derp. So, glad you guys watched this. I don't know if you found this useful or anything. It was just more for me to waste my time and build some stuff because I was bored. Yeah, so these are queues that I designed in a previous tutorial, and I looked at these and realized that this could be designed a lot better so that we can stack these closer so that we could fit more bytes in a queue. So this is a very terrible design looking back at this, but anyway, I don't care, it works for what I needed to do. And then this could be expanded for n bits or bytes or whatever. You could just keep stacking it that way because it's repeaters, and you know, the signal will never attenuate because they're repeaters. Yeah, and so if you like this, please subscribe.